Welcome to the Marketing Mortgages podcast by Social for Brokers. Now, today I have with me somebody who I've been trying to get on for a while, and I'm glad I finally have because he's got so many golden tips to help you grow your online brand, be it for your business or for your personal brand, all with just using LinkedIn. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Roger Morris of Chetwood Bank. So, Roger, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Chris. This is a real honour, and you are someone that I watch a lot of your videos and your content, so it's equally mutually exciting. So thank you for
Fantastic.
this.
I'm sure we can speak about a lot of things around about LinkedIn and what we will probably come together and agree on a lot of things when it comes to content then. And we had a little chat before we jumped on, and just hearing about the effort that goes into Roger's content, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in. So the main reason I wanted to get you on today, Roger, was to discuss how you've grown your brand on LinkedIn to over 27,000 followers now. And one of the main reasons that I feel that's grown to that size is the power of your interview style videos. So much so that Chetwood Bank now have a professional microphone printed just for Roger's interviews.
Yeah.
And looking at that today, we're going to get Roger's advice on how to set up video, how to record video, and also how to get over the fear of doing them, because that is one of the biggest roadblocks. I know I came across when I started video, so we're going to get into that. But before we get into everything about social media, Roger, please introduce yourself. Can you give us a bit of a background as to how you got to where you are today, please?
My background is very unusual. I was born in Teesside in 1965, 60 years ago, Chris. I was born into quite a poor family. I was very uneducated at school. So when I left school at 16, Chris, I had zero qualifications. But when I did leave school, I was earning quite a lot of money from school. So I used to do all manner of different forms of employment during my academic years. So I was earning about £6,000 a year when I was at school. So when I didn't actually need to take any exams because I didn't necessarily see the relevance. I then left school. I went and became a fitter and turner in the industrial heartlands of Teesside. I ended up then working in a door manufacturer. And then joined the British Fire Service at the age of 20, which then allowed me to do part-time jobs like farming, working in a piggery, kitchen fitter, working on building sites. So I'm a time-served bricklayer. I can do joinery. Worked in the funeral trade part-time for many, many years. So carpet cleaning, so many different trades, but they all enrich your life. And then I bought my first house when I was 18, put down 50% deposit, which is how I came across a mortgage broker, and then started buying houses and land from the age of 20. That was where my love affair with property came. And then when I was in my early 20s, went to get a remortgage on one of my houses and couldn't get one. And I was offered a job to become a mortgage advisor. And then at that particular time in the very early 90s, it was a 2-day induction, Chris. There was no qualification. There was no internet, no mobile phones, and no sat nav. And your client bank was the old phone book. And that's where I built my career from. And by the time I got to my early 30s, I employed 137 people, and I was manufacturing about 130 million of subprime mortgages a month, and was dealing with all the American subprime banks. Came very close to selling my packaging business in 2007, just before the crash, and then it crashed. And then I went to work for Affirmative Finance, the UK's, in my opinion, my favourite bridging lender. And then I was headhunted to set up Precise Mortgages in 2010, and then stayed on there till the OSB acquisition and the stock market flotation of Precise. Went to work and launched the first charge mortgage division of Tandem Bank for 2 years. and then got the privilege to come in and work at Chetwood Bank, CHL Mortgages and Moda Mortgages. And I hope, Chris, this is the last part of my career and I can stay with this amazing bank for the rest of my working life.
But do you think you'll ever retire in the sense of the word, Roger? I didn't think you would, no.
No, I don't want to. No.
No, you'll carry on work. Will it keep you sane almost, being able to carry on working?
Yeah, I think if you love what you do, and there's times that we don't love what we do because the economy can be tough and life can be tough, but overall, I love what I do. I think once we're out of this initial growth phase, then you get the challenges of businesses. But I love what I do. But as I get older, I'd maybe temper maybe the traveling a little bit more with technology and engaging social media more. It's those sort of things. And then working with young, vibrant people like you, Chris, that are changing the world by working with mortgage intermediaries will be bringing your skill set and me helping businesses shape. That's what I'm really good at, bringing in experts that will help people grow. People like you offer so much value. So, yeah.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. And this episode is going to be a lot about social media, but I'm actually going to go down a slightly different path for a bit because you do have a wealth of knowledge, and obviously it's a mindset thing when you do go through tough times. What would you say to mortgage brokers at the moment that are maybe inundated? I know there's a lot of mortgage brokers out there that are stressed busy, and I've always said you'd rather be stressed busy than stressed quiet, but you're still stressed with the amount of work. How have you managed that in the past? What tips can you
First
give?
advice would be if I was, let's just say you're the stressed mortgage broker, I'd come in and stop everything. Switch off your mobile, switch off your computer and take you out. Come on, Chris, we're going to go for a walk. First, breathe. First, decompress. And secondly, let's put in a structured plan of your working day. Because I bet you say you're working all the hours and you're working 7 days a week, which will be most of it non-productive time. So the first thing you've got to do is you need a work-life balance. You need a clear segmentation between work and rest and family time. Your day needs to be structured. So you need time on the computer and time on the phone. Don't let those two mix. So have set time, like first thing in the morning. If you come in at work, I mean, I start early, but let's say if you come in at 7 or 8, that's email time, no phone calls. Don't take any personal phone calls during the working time. Do them at a night time. Make it clear that when you're at work, you're at work. So structure your day. Email time first thing in the morning. Don't get distracted. Clear on. And any negatives, deal with them straight away. Then I've allocated time for prospecting, allocated time for customer callbacks, and then look at how you can use AI to immerse yourself into working with the likes of WhatsApp Business Pro, where you set expectations. So when dealing with a mortgage application, be very clear to say, right, Chris, I've just done your mortgage application. You will not hear from me for 7 days because that lender takes 6 days before it will respond back. That's the service standards. Start to set out and then have digitalized reminders from WhatsApp, which will say, just to remind you, we did say 7 days, we've now been 3 days, the application's gone into the lender, and start to automate the process. And as soon as possible, get admin support. Admin, do admin, you do advice. Digitalize your client bank and automate. Use technology, use engagement, and use social media in its different factions and functions to do what it's doing. If you're stressed because you're dealing with problem cases, then a lot of that time is experience and knowledge. So how do you learn from every stressed experience and what can you do better? And sometimes you're better off stopping your business for a couple of days to put in systems and procedures of working patterns that allows you to function better. But taking somebody on to do the admin support can be just a lifesaver. But a lot of it is people are stressed is because of structure and function and mindset. Change your mindset. It's knocked down a pit, and you're not in a cancer ward having to sit parents down to tell them that the child's about to die of cancer. So we haven't got a bad job, and we don't deal in death. We deal in joy. So just try and find a way to breathe and understand how to relax and maximize what you do. That's what I would say, Chris.
Love that. There's so much in there to unpack, and I think that's its whole own episode, to be honest, about mindset around running the business. But I love the idea of, yes, talking about the automation. What can you do to make your life easier? We've done lots of episodes on here about when is the right time to get an admin involved. How do you use social media? But AI is a very good one. Use as much AI and technology as you can to make your life easier. I love that. Okay, so let's get into LinkedIn then. When would you say that you really started to put like a conscious effort into your content on LinkedIn, Roger?
Well, it all started, we were doing a corporate hospitality in the Six Nations, and we were in an Indian restaurant, and I think it would be around about 2015. I was sat with my boss, Alan Cleary, and we were on about Twitter. And Alan said to me, you need to get on Twitter. And that was it. It was like, what's Twitter? I didn't do any social media. And if anybody knows about me personally, I don't do any personal social media. I'm not on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And if you ever look at any of my posts, you'll never find anything about me as a person. It's always business. I just don't do anything personally on social media because I don't really understand it, Chris. That's a story for another time. So what happened was I started doing Twitter. But what I realized when I went to events is I'd learned there was a particular app where you could put your post on Twitter and LinkedIn. But I suddenly found that people would speak to me about LinkedIn. They'd say, oh, Rod, you were at that event, or Rod, you were here. And I suddenly started to realize that people were saying to me about what I was doing from LinkedIn and not Twitter. So suddenly I thought, right, it's obviously working. So I'm going to start to work on what I was doing on LinkedIn. The other thing that I've always believed in my whole life is when you meet someone for the first time, do something for them before they do something for you. So never ask them for business. Find out what allows them to feed their family, what's important to them, and start back with them first. Tell me about you. Tell me what you do, and I will find a way of helping you make money before you make me money. And knowledge and education become that gift that everybody needs, knowledge and education, and which is why I went on and if anyone's into qualifications, your first is CMAP, and then next is the London Institute of Banking and Finance, the advanced exam for buy-to-let. So I wrote that exam. I got the privilege of being allowed to write the material on the exam. So it's about what have you given back and what have you done. It's not done for egotistical reasons. I just find it works. So I started to do more and more posts, and the more and more people you helped and the more and more people you saw and going around doing events, people just took an interest in me and liked the knowledge and the education and value I started to put onto LinkedIn. And I used to do that through flat adverts, through flat marketing. But it was just videos I think I came across because of the sheer acceleration of TikTok and realizing that it was my daughter, my youngest daughter, she only ever watches YouTube. She wouldn't read. Why read something when you can watch a video? And she introduced me to YouTube, which is if I'm trying to do something which I don't know how, like DIY, watch it on YouTube. It's easier than reading it. So I started to do the videos, and the videos again took on their own life, but you've got to keep evolving your story. So when you're good at something, that's when you need to change it. So change at the top, not on the way down, is really the tip. And then the followers just kept coming. So it's just never surprises me. By every day, there's more people wanting to follow me, but always follow people back, Chris. Never be egotistical like Twitter, where I don't follow anyone, everyone follows me.
No, it's called social media for a reason. You've got to be social on there. That's exactly the key. What's interesting is what you spoke about from a business point of view is what can I do to help that person before they can help me? That's social media in a nutshell, really. You have helped your audience by putting out as much knowledge as possible in the hope that then that person then says, right, Roger, I want to speak to you about a business opportunity. That's what social media is. And you've spoken about some of the benefits where you're maybe at events when people are coming up to you and speaking to you. But is there anything in terms of generating new business as a benefit? Have you seen that directly?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So when I do my educational webinars, or like the other day, we did an introduction to motor mortgages, and I put it on LinkedIn, and I got 170 people registered for that webinar
Gosh,
on LinkedIn from just for Moda, a webinar that I was doing last Thursday, just purely because of LinkedIn. So
wow.
if you think lenders, networks and clubs, if they can get 50 of their advisors on an event, it's pretty good going, and they'll charge you good money for that. Where if I put it out, I can go out and go. So yeah, so for the brand, I think I get about 1.4 million impressions a year, and when you look at the impressions, Chris, you can tear yourself up and think, God, that means 1.4 million people watch me post. No, it doesn't. But it does mean that your posts are active. And people will say, well, do you get lots of likes and engagements? But I find with my educational videos, I don't get likes, but I know people have watched them. That's the thing.
Yeah,
So it's like if I'm outside the Houses of Parliament doing an EPC update, people aren't going to like it because it's not good news, it's factual, but they'll watch it. So,
yeah.
but if you want to get the most from LinkedIn, the most is not have a brand behind you, not mention anything about business, have your arm round Chris, smiling and just full of life. And
Buying from you, the person.
those messages work. But what I would say is, since I've been on LinkedIn, I will always try and say when someone's been promoted or someone's done something, or is try and put something personal about them. In the BDM world of other lenders, I'll go on and comment on their posts because I'm really proud of what they've done. Or I've get great comments on someone from the Coventry or someone from NatWest or someone from OSB, and actually just tell them, look, listen, Chris, will you do me a favour? Will you stop being so amazing? Because all the brokers love you, and I'm struggling to get into your area. And in events, people will come up. But LinkedIn has saved my career, Chris. And I think
Wow, okay.
one thing I would say, when I needed help the most from this industry, it was LinkedIn that saved my career.
That's incredible. And we're going to get into some top tips shortly about what you should do on LinkedIn. But I just love that it's LinkedIn's a very positive place. I think a lot of people have this perception that it can be quite a negative place, but it is really, really positive. And you made this shift. I love the idea of you say you've always got to be evolving your story.
Mm.
Like we have to evolve from newspapers to the phone book to websites to social media. We're always evolving. Now, you made that you evolved from the normal marketing posts into video. How do you start in video? Somebody listening to this and going, Roger, I really want to start video, but I just don't know where to begin. What tips would you give them?
The tips I would say is you you've got to be yourself.
Okay, yeah,
Don't be polished. People don't want perfect performances. That's not what they want. That's not the real you. Most people aren't perfect. Most
hmm
people will trip up on words. So I would say when I interview anyone, I always say, listen, Chris, we're just going to do a test one now. And a lot of the times I'll use my selfie stick to get together. And then there's the argument between going landscape or portrait, which
yeah,
technically you should portrait because it fits better on smartphones. And I'll say to you, right, Chris, this is roughly what I'm going to do. This is roughly what I'm going to say. But I'm going to ask you something so close to your heart, like tell me about your business. Well, you don't have to prep for that.
yeah,
Um, and I'm going to ask you some things that I know you will answer, but I'm not going to tell you because I want to see the reaction on your face. And we're going to, as soon as I press it, just relax for a second and just be you. You're talking to me, but you're looking at the camera. And what I do with people is we never ever, unless I make a mistake on the opening line and forget someone's name. Chris, I'm remembering your name. It sounds daft. It's not because it's on the screen, but some people's names I struggle with. But if I've got that, after that, that's it. We are never going to cut that video. And if people will say to me, "Oh God, I made a mess of that. I'm glad we're re-recording this." Keep going, because we're not recording it. Because people want to see you laugh and have a mistake, and they want to see that movement, that evolving of an understanding of the person that you're speaking to and getting to know something about the personality. They don't want it scripted. And it's one of those things where don't look like you're doing a hostage video situation where you know, a white wall behind you. Get some colour, get some vibrance, go outside. What space in the house makes you feel alive? Or what is it that makes you feel alive? Because people look at the background, but I use the iPhone, other brands and mobiles are available, but the iPhone 16, if I did a video on the road, on the iPhone 16, you can go into the editing suite and you can go into studio and you can just move the setting and it takes out all the background noise of cars. So it doesn't matter where you are. And then you can cut down the video in the size and the width. But it's just, if you feel the best, go in the garden, go somewhere which lightens up your face. Make sure you get a bit of colour on you if you're old and grey. But be you. And when you start off, accept you're going to be rubbish. You're going to be wooden, and it's not going to be good. But don't spend ages and ages and ages and ages redoing the video because you want it perfect. Life isn't perfect, and people don't necessarily identify the perfect people. If they want perfect people, they go and watch something on TV or a film. Be who you are when they meet you. So when you meet a customer for the first time, are you going to be this polished, manicured individual? Or are you just going to be you? Because people like you as you. That's what I would say. And just relax. And I can make anyone relax when I get a camera in front of them. And the microphone, it does help you. You can hide behind a microphone. Don't anyone else use a microphone because that's my idea. But no, it's not. It's others. Loads have got it. But there's something that when the microphone says to the audience, it's an interview. So just think of props and ideas. That's all I would say.
I love that. I love the idea of the microphone. It does add a bit of comfort when we do video recordings with our clients for their social media content. Sometimes I'll get them to hold a highlighter, and it makes you a bit more comfortable, or have a cup of tea and hold a cuppa. You know what I mean? We've got all the props for anybody watching on YouTube, but it's little tips like this that you might not necessarily. You might have watched one of Roger's videos with the microphone, and you might have automatically thought, "Oh, that's purely for sound purpose." Whereas what Roger's saying here is, no, it's to try and help people feel a bit more comfortable. And these are little things. And the reason I wanted Roger to talk about the interviewing process is because if you've listened to some of our previous episodes, I think mortgage brokers should be the TV of their local area, where they should be going out and interviewing the local butcher, the local head teacher at the local school, the local dog walker, and building up this local brand.
I love that, Chris. And it's like being in with the butchers, which PR, they'll do a video outside their shop because it's local, and the local cafe will happily do it. And just saying, look, I do my own social channel. Would you mind if I do a quick video? Who comes in your cafe and why? I know there's people working. They'll love it, and it's reciprocal. Absolutely. People want what's important, what's on your mind, what are you thinking about, I love it, Chris.
A question I love at the moment, which I read in a book recently, was instead of saying to somebody, "How are you?" or "What are you doing at the moment?" say to them, "What's exciting you at the moment? What's getting you excited?" And it's such a different conversation to what are you doing at the moment? No, what are you excited about? What gets you up in the morning? I think that's a great question. That is exactly what Roger's been doing on LinkedIn. He doesn't go on a video with a microphone and say, listen to all the new offers that we have at Chetwood Bank. We're doing X, Y, Z, and I've spoken to John Smith about it. John Smith, what do you think to our new products? No, it's John Smith, how are you? And it's
Yeah,
bang. And Roger's front and centre, even though you're not talking about business, you're still
yeah,
in a side, in a roundabout way, people are still thinking, Chetwood Bank, because
yeah.
you've got the branding and the microphone. So I love that. One question that I get asked a lot is, Chris, how do I stay consistent with social media content? So I might upload 4 posts or 4 videos one week, and then I go quiet for 3 months. How do you stay consistent with it, Roger?
Strategic planning of constantly thinking ahead. So we launched with the Primus network. So I made sure that's the most recent one on Monday. I shot that 3 weeks ago with Craig. It could be where
Oh,
I'm with you today, and I'm thinking I'm going to announce a partnership with you, Chris, of promoting your support for social media to mortgage advisors in a month's time. So we shoot the video
you,
now, and then what I would say would be anybody who knows me personally, I just celebrated my 60th birthday. For those who were on
happy
the podcast
birthday.
watching on YouTube, will go, my God, he's too stunning to be 60. That can't be possible. Well, it is, believe it or not. And when I was away, when I came back, I got quite a few strong emails from people that had rang me and emailed me, and I hadn't responded and complained about me out of office because it was a load of nonsense that I was supposedly on holiday because I'd posted 4 times a week for the 2.5 weeks I was off.
Wow.
Because what I made sure is I had enough content from events and things to create the illusion that I was still at events, still out seeing brokers and still doing what I was doing. And my top tip would be schedule your posts. Do not post live unless you know you need to because you're
Very
coming to an
clever.
event. So most of my scheduling will always be done 2 weeks in advance. So if you looked on LinkedIn now, the posts I post Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I tend to not Friday. That's my ideal preference. And I'll have my post for this week and next week, and then constantly making content. So you're not under pressure, but you're then thinking of different things. You don't have to post 4 times a week, but set yourself what you are going to remain constant. So for people starting off, it needs to be weekly. But as much as you've got to post, you've got to engage with other people. And
Yeah.
don't, Chris, what everyone will say, oh, I did a post on LinkedIn, I got no likes, so I never went on it again.
That's unfortunately that's the reality we live in, isn't it? Because we want that quick overnight success.
Doesn't
But
happen.
what you will do, you won't only just upload that content, you'll go and engage on other people's content as well. How
Always.
powerful have you found that commenting on other people's content?
Well, the best example of that I can give you, there's 2 experiences in my life. The first I knew was going to happen was when I was going to, I'd made the decision I was going to accept redundancy from OSB. I knew it was going to happen. My boss was very supportive, and my journey had come to the end with OSB, and I wanted to find a new chapter. And OSB were absolutely brilliant. So what I deliberately did was stayed off for posting on LinkedIn for a month before, but significantly increased my engagement with everyone. Literally every waking hour of the day, I would do nice genuine nice
Yeah.
comments and likes and posts. Maybe 4 hours a day I was doing it,
Gosh.
literally more any spare second to really get that people had that remembering, oh, Roger said a nice comment, Roger said a nice comment, not post. And then the day I left, I announced after, I think it was like 15 years at Precise, that I was going to move out for a new career and put the gauntlet down to whoever would like to employ me in the business go next. And I think I got somewhere in the region of about 385,000 views on that
Gosh.
post. And what that did was it got me 10 offers from CEOs within 2 weeks of offering of a new job. So that was the positivity of a known event of where you could pre-plan. The opposite would be when I came back from holiday in April last year. It was April the 8th. And unfortunately, Tandem Bank had made the decision to make the mortgage first charge team in its entirety redundant. And it was a real shock. And what I did was I explained the business I needed to go out on LinkedIn. But what I really realized that time, and that was a video, was my last duty to discharge as group sales and distribution director for mortgages was to get my team a job. And what
I remember this video. I remember this video going out, and I just remember thinking, what class? Like, there's not many people that would do a video saying we're all being made redundant, and this video is solely to find positions. But it wasn't in your job description to do that. As a person, I understand why you did, but I just remember seeing that video and thinking that is just top class.
You see, I would say it was because everybody was below me and I was responsible for them. I was there doing their one-to-ones, the end of the year reprisal. They reported to me. So if I'm saying to you, Chris, I'm going to make you redundant, I'm letting you know, which I had to let everyone know, make it redundant. I'm going to say to you, Chris, I'm going to find you a job. Trust me, I'll find you a job. And the sales team, within 48 hours, were all re-employed again.
Wow.
Richard Angel took a little bit longer and I took a little bit longer, but Richard and I, everyone got a job. The underwriters got a job, but it resonated with so many people that I was just so concerned because you had to tell these people and it was a shock. And we just reached out to the LinkedIn community by going, these guys are amazing. Please, can we see if we can find work? And that went viral and had a great impact. And there was a lot there. And but that I would still say that was my toughest time in my entire life was that period because, I was at an age where ageism starts to come in and you think, do you want someone when are they relevant? So LinkedIn keeps you relevant and it keeps you fresh and it allows you to engage with different peer groups and different age groups. And it is just about, I desperately didn't want to tire in. I felt I had so much more to give. So you're using social media in different ways and then you could keep constant messages going out to remind people that you were still there, but not asking for another job again, because you can't do that because you can't look, you don't want to look desperate ever. You just got to remain positive.
Yeah.
And that worked out for me. It saved my career twice. It made me career once and it saved me the last time, Chris.
LinkedIn saves your career. That's a great title for the podcast. And I know a lot of brokers are going to be listening to this and going, oh, Chris, Roger, this is great, but I'm a mortgage broker. I don't need a job. But what I'm saying is everything that Roger has done in terms of engaging with people, leaving nice comments, interviewing people with the industry, take this from LinkedIn and go and put it on Facebook or Instagram. Or if you're going after a real niche audience, do it on LinkedIn. If you're going after limited company directors with turnover of more than £300,000 per year, yes, do LinkedIn. But everything that Roger's talked about, Roger's perfect platform is LinkedIn for his industry. For mortgage brokers, go and do this. I would do it on Facebook personally because I still think Facebook is very powerful. But if you're more comfortable on Instagram, go and do this exact thing on Instagram. Go and comment on the local butcher, something nice. Go and comment on somebody happy birthday. It's so powerful.
So, Chris, here's my tip, right? Imagine, for those on the podcast who can't see, but those on video can. I'm holding up just an A4. It's Mortgage Strategy. Other publications, magazine are available. Imagine what I'm holding up now is an A4 laminate or an A4 printout of my logo of my mortgage firm. So my mortgage firm is called Chris's Mortgages. All right, it's got my logo on there.
Mhm.
So I'm going to print that off, and I'm going to arrange a mortgage for you, Chris. Right, and I'm going to say to you, right, Chris, we're going to arrange the purchase of your new dream home, and we're going to get you in, and I'm going to look after you all the way. And if I get you into your house, would you do me one favour? And you're going to say yes.
Yeah.
If I send to you, because I know you'll lose it, on the day you move in, my logo on a laminate, would you go outside your front door and would you take a picture of you holding my logo outside of your house? And would you
Yeah.
send me that picture, right? And how would you send me that picture, Chris? You send me it from your Facebook account. And what
Yeah.
that does is it shows your Facebook account. They don't need to know anything other than that everything is in that picture. No words. Who arranged your mortgage? Sheer delight, sheer positivity, sheer recommendation. And that comes into my Facebook account. And what I will then do is have very quickly a landing page of a collage of photos of satisfied customers, and they can be remortgages, product transfers, it could be anything. And that from that you will get the power of referrals.
Yeah, that's
You
so powerful and it's so easy. All you're asking is for the person to take a quick photo. Guys, we have covered so much in this episode. There's so many good tips in here. As a thank you, we donate £10 to a charity of your choice, which we spoke about beforehand, Roger. And you actually threw it back to me, didn't you? And you said, I asked me to choose a charity, which I've never been asked actually before. So it's really nice touch. So I would like to make the donation to Cancer Research UK, which we will do. So, Roger, where is the best place for people to connect with you if they do want to have a chat about anything business related, anything to do with LinkedIn?
Literally, just connect with me on LinkedIn and message me. I accept every invitation. I don't screen and start working out who that person is, what that person does. You connect with me on LinkedIn or email me, roger.morris@chetwood.co. There's no UK, so roger.morris@chetwood.co.
Fantastic. Roger, thank you so much for your time. I know people are going to find this so valuable. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure I'd love to get you back on to do an episode purely around mindset and around business growth, because I think that would be really valuable for the listeners as well.
Let me just let me do the closing comment, Chris, because it'll be more powerful than yours. If you're a mortgage advisor, or if you've got any particular business, but let's just say you're a mortgage advisor, how much do you want to grow your business? What do you aspire to? Would you like to grow your business to a significant height? Would you like to find more clients that will generate much better income and easy to deal with? If you would, you need to engage in social media. Now you might be going, oh my God, how do I do it? And how do I start? Well, you start with Chris. Chris has a starter course at £50 a month, which will help you if you feel that's as much as you can afford. But if you want the best advice for an investment of £370 a month, including VAT, what's 370, Chris, was it?
360, but 370. I'll take 370.
It's gone down, and for that, he will get 3 branded posts on LinkedIn a week. And if you invest the time and follow the advice Chris goes and go with him on a social media journey, and then as your business grows, you invest to videos, the best tip you will ever get is invest in technology, and the support that Chris can give you and your business, I think, will be the one thing that you will take away from this video. And Chris, they can get your details because it's all over the podcast that we got out there. So a huge thank you for me, and guys, take that advice.
Thank you. I can't add anything else to that. I'm going to close the podcast off. Thank you very much, Roger. That's very, very kind. Thank you again, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Cheers.